All across the Sable and the northern reaches of Lon and I, farmsteads, havens, and roadways are dealing with an irritating plague of troublesome green-wheeled creatures known as Boghoffens. Meddlesome and violent, Boghoffens delight in falling upon wayward travellers and shepherds and arraying their corpses in attempts to communicate upcoming arcane tragedy. The arrival of Boghoffens in the past has been a grim warning for small isolated settlements, but the sudden appearance of hundreds of the creatures across the Sable and, most worryingly, outside of the Weald is unheard of. The peculiar creatures have an affinity for children, refusing them harm and often engaging in play. Stories abound of Boghoffens teaching children crude dances and songs, or whispering to them the secrets of the woods, much to the chagrin and concern of their parents. The plague of the creatures across the region has had many strange effects which can be read within. Boghoffens appear as a crude mixture of insect, plant, and fey features, favouring the use of crude tools and sharp objects to inflict violence. Troublesome alone, they are downright deadly in a mob. Many hounds priests have found it easier to simply burn out their warrens rather than attempt to dispatch the creature with blade and sorcery. For many, the surge of these irritating creatures has immediate logistical headaches, as attempting to dispatch solutions across the wide area will cause problems for both the baronies and Lon and I. But for many, there is a greater concern in the shadows. Why now, and why so many? Their strange rhymes of the Boghoffen and their grisly trophies are said to be the harbingers of something larger and more dangerous. In that way, is it better to dispatch the messengers now, or heed them as harbinger, or ignore the old tales for what they are, old tales? The Jester has escaped the court. In all truth, there is never a point where the Sable has ever been free of Boghoffens. Such is the nature of their all-pervading irritation. But havens across the territory are all reporting similar occurrences in a manner most concerning. Even Wolstad has had its own assault of a gaggle of Boghoffens set a distillery alight, with explosive results. At its worst, havens deep in the Sable are reporting becoming besieged at night as the foul-smelling creatures cast sharpened stones, crude spears, and worse at anyone wandering the streets. During the day, the adults engage in pantomime parleys by sending the children out in the trees to meet with the erstwhile invaders. The children always return unharmed with cryptic messages, and those most adept at their diplomacy sometimes return with sceptres woven from willow wood and tipped with flowers. But still the sieges continue. The lack of an established Hounds Priest chapter makes a cohesive response difficult, as the itinerant monster hunters simply attempt to right the problem whenever they happen to be present, resulting in a slapdash response. Mercenary groups in Wolstad and Eisen sharpen their blades and ready themselves for the imminent Boghoffen season that will surely be announced, but their captains balk at the idea. Troublesome Boghoffens are the doom of any well-meaning quartermaster, as they spoil supplies, split ropes, and are messy to dispatch even successfully with their various bodily oozes. It is likely that attempting to hunt Boghoffens will cost mercenaries money rather than secure a profit. As dispatches from the Sable as far as the Eisen River make the slow journey to the Baron's residence in Krenzenberg, there are other whispers in the roots. The rhymes the children are taught weave a haunting song, and the ley lines crackle and hiss. Be it malign magical winds that have pushed the Boghoffens to ashen, or perhaps is there a hidden hand the Weald is responding. Those who call themselves Weald Sage will find very little funny about the antics within the Sable While the people call out for Hounds Priests, perhaps it is only the sages who are listening. Game information. There will be decisions to be made in regards to the Boghoffen plague for the Baron of Resinderholz, the Champion of the Weald, and the Deed Holder of the Eisen Orchard. Predations of Boghoffens across the Sable are extensive and dramatic. This surprise attack poses very little military danger in reality, but economically it's a concern. A number of investments over the Sable and Wolstad have been damaged as the petulant creatures start fires, assault workers, and festoon facades with feces, and worse. Characters with investments in the Sable of Wolstad can tell stories of coming face to face with the creatures, often violently, witnessing them leading children in crude but haunting dances, and coming across the foul trophies the creatures carve from corpses of those they catch alone. The exception to this is ley lines. Any ley lines in the Sable Heart will find as if they produce as if they were a tier higher this past season. We'll include an additional roleplay prompt within the character pack as the magic of the wield seeps through these arcane points of power. Any wield sage whose investment is based on the Sable Heart will receive an additional briefing in their character pack, as the arcane nature of the wield and its denizens offer parley. Out-of-towners. For the people of the Northern Madricampo, this is an alarming situation. The creatures of the wield are nearly always limited to the wield itself, the cursed children of an equally malign parent, rarely escaping from beyond its skirts. But not only are the Boghoffen running ramshod all over the northern eastern reaches of the territory, they're doing so before a populace thoroughly unprepared for their arrival. The Madricampo is a place of wide fields, winding vineyards, and old farmhouse mansions turned villages. It is home to the Concordian capital settlement of Passage, and is nearly as far away from war as it is possible to get. Outside of personal grievance and political requirements, the people do not arm themselves or brawl outside of the tavern. The children have the run of the fields outside of their lessons and can travel many miles over the course of the day between hidden coveys and aging aqueducts, as much as anywhere in the Concord is a place of bucolic whimsy. Which is why the violent arrival of hundreds of green-skinned marauders has caused such damage. While in the Weald, the creatures are engaged in some sort of strange territorial re-establishment, pushing the bounds of the Sable Heart for all it's worth. In Lorona, they are little more than crude raiders. The Boghoffens plunder storehouses for grain and wine, bedrooms for jewellery, and tool sheds for weapons. They attack wagons moving along the roads and are found gorged on grapes and seeds in the fields. Children are abducted and subjected to strange plays before being returned at sunset, festooned with trinkets and strange war paint. But the people of Lorona are nothing if not aggressive. The farmers of the Madricampo lack any preconceived notions about diplomacy with the Weald or the vaunted role of hounds priest. Lorona knows that for a few locks you can hire a group of tough lads from the pub who'll be more than happy to beat the snot out of a few little green men. So what if it smells bad? From drunken louts to bravo companies, there looks like there may very well be work in the Madricampo for mercenaries in this coming season. But among the leaders of the Madricampo there is another concern. Surely the management and containment of the Weald is not their duty. The spilling over of the little artipisani, as the Boghoffens have become known, into Lorona is a failing of the baronies. It is surely not Lorona duty to carry the cost of this burden. Maybe this is a problem of the Greenwield's making, and so maybe the Greenwield should pay for it. Game information. There will be decisions regarding the Boghoffen plague in the Madricampo for the Senator of Lorona, the Champion of the Revolution, the Baron of Resinderholtz, and the Spy Master of the Tyrant's Curse. The Boghoffens in the Madricampo territory of Lorona have a more vindictive and greedy tone than those of the Sable Heart. Plenty of goods are stolen, and life in the quiet northern farmlands has quickly gotten bloody and dangerous. Numerous investments based in the Madricampo have been damaged. Characters with investments in Madricampo can tell stories of helping put out fires of neighbouring or their own land, having goods and tools stolen by little artipisani, of having been part of an angry mob that put the scattered brutes to the sword. Immediate payment for mercenaries has seen growth as these established farming communities reach out for support. Lorona mercenary units that took the independent action downtime this past season, or are new characters this season, may roleplay that the money and resources gained hunting Boghoffens in the Madricampo. Fighting Boghoffens is not particularly difficult. The creatures are not much more powerful than a human, but they are cruel, flighty, and smell terrible. They have a tendency of bleeding a foul ichor all over anyone who engages them and are not remotely enjoyable to fight. Getting into fights at recess. What is on the minds of everyone is the Boghoffen's strange interactions with children. It is unclear if the strange creatures see young children as kindred spirits, harmless friends, or targets of manipulation. Regardless of the why, they have a tendency to teach children rhymes, dances, and songs that carry strange fey messages or taunts. So far there have been no reports from the Sablehide or Madricampo of children being harmed by Boghoffens, save for when they have been unknowingly caught up in fires or other discriminant mischief. But it is hard to feel comfortable with the creatures interacting with young folk when the Boghoffens are often known for being able to kill lone wanderers with their bare hands and have a tendency of disembowelment and mutilation. Most of the time children run off with Boghoffens without their parents' knowledge or under strict supervision, such as in the besieged settlements in the Sable Heart. It is the jokes, poems and songs of the Boghoffens that are of most interest. It is likely that hidden somewhere in these gifts are the clues about the Boghoffens themselves, their nature, and the cause of their sudden explosion in population. But as any parent can tell you, getting clear information from a child below the age of 10 is not the simplest of propositions. Game information. Boghoffen's affinity for children and young folk is a peculiar element in the recent spate of attacks. Any player with an investment based in Madragambo, Wolstad or the Sable Heart who is a guardian of a player 15 or younger who will be attending the Winter Summit can email concordplot@gmail.com to alert the story team. Doing so will provide that character with immunity to Boghoffen related damages over this past season, and will provide an additional roleplay brief for them to share with the young player, including stories of shenanigans with Boghoffen songs and crude Boghoffen jokes. Given that passage falls well within the area of the Madragambo affected by the Boghoffen plague, all guardians should consider and be prepared for Boghoffens to appear and interact with their charges. And so concludes my reading of A Matter Fit for Boghoffens. Thank you so much for being here, and I'll see you next time.